Today I'm going to be having a look at the Invens A9 Smartphone. Hey everybody, just a quick reminder, if you like these kinds of videos and you'd like to see more of them, please remember to subscribe down below and enable bell notifications so you can get notified of future uploads. And now, without any further ado, let's get to today's video. So, you're looking for a new smartphone and you have a very limited budget. So, what do? You start looking around at some of these off-brand phones, because phones like your Samsungs and your Huawei's and those kinds of phones, even LG, Sony, they are just plain too expensive, not to even mention iPhone. So the question is, are these phones worth it? Well, today we're going to find out. So first of all, let's have a look at the packaging. So it comes in some pretty decent packaging. I wouldn't call this any less decent than something like a budget Samsung or like a mid-range Samsung's packaging. It's a sturdy double box and yeah, no real complaints there so far. But let's see what we have written on here. So on the front, first of all, as you can see here, we have a picture of it, the name of it, and then they also state face unlock here, which is quite an interesting feature to get on such a budget phone. So we'll have to see how well that works. So as we go around to the back here, we see the specs of the phone. So it has a 5.5 inch IPS LCD display. It comes with Android 8.1. It has only 1 gig of RAM and 8 gigs of storage, which really isn't all that much. It is quite limited, but I guess at the price you can't expect more. Then camera wise, it has a 2 megapixel front camera and a 5 megapixel on the rear, which is once again quite limited, but at least it has it. And then once again they're talking about the face unlock, and then a 2500 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty okay considering it's not a very powerful phone, so it shouldn't be too power hungry, the processor in here. Yeah, but I think that's enough of the box. Let's see what we get inside. So the box just slides off like this, very simple, and then opens up like this. Okay, and then in here we get the phone. And the particular model I got is the gold one. As you can see, it also does come in some other colors. As you can see here, it comes in green, pink and sky blue as well. So yeah, you have some variety of choices there, I guess. Okay, so there's the phone itself. Looks pretty decent. It's all plastic though, so yeah, but that's to be expected at this price. And then let's see what else we have here in the box. So first of all, we get a headset, just a very basic one. It does not even have hands-free. As you can see, it's only a TRS connector and not a TRRS, so it doesn't have hands-free. I'm pretty sure the phone supports hands-free, but just the headset that comes with it doesn't. Okay, then next we have a pop socket. Actually, like they give you a little complimentary pop socket if you're into that kind of stuff, as you can see there. So there's that. Then we get a normal little wall wart, little charger. That's a 1 amp, 5 volts, 1 amp, whatever. So yeah, pretty average, just nothing amazing, but it comes with that. And then a normal micro B USB It's not Type-C, but at this price range, once again, you can't expect to get Type-C just yet. So that's for charging. And then here we have the battery. And yes, that's because the battery is removable, which is kind of nice. I do kind of like this sometimes. If it's not necessary to seal the battery into the phone, it shouldn't be sealed into the phone. Okay, and then here we have a cover. It's basically kind of like a rubbery cover that it comes with. We'll see how well that fits in a minute. Doesn't look all too well. And yeah, and then this is quite nice. It comes with an extra like back cover. So if you don't like the gold or it gets all scuffed up and everything, you can replace it with this, which is kind of like a very dark bluish, matte blue, almost black color. So yeah, that's kind of nice that you get this spare cover. And then the bottom of the box, you are getting a lot of extras with this phone. Something you don't really get with most normal phones is a lot of extras like this. So yeah, here you also get a tempered glass screen protector. That's really nice. I've never gotten a tempered glass screen protector with any of my phones before. That's a new one for me as well. So yeah, there you go, screen protector. And then just the wipes for the screen and the user manual. That's basically it then. So that's basically everything that's in the box. So now let's move on to the phone itself. So here it is. So first of all, let's put in the battery. So the back just clips off like this. Very basic plastic back cover. Like I said before, it's completely plastic. No aluminum or glass or anything here. It's just plastic. Well, the screen is glass at least, but that's pretty much all. So yeah, there you go. It's dual SIM though, so that's quite nice. But it's quite common also on Chinese phones for them to be dual SIM. So let's put in the battery. There we go. Our brand new battery. Just put that in. And then to put back cover. Just like that. And I'm also going to install this rubber cover or this pouch or whatever you'd like to call it. And there we go. It does go on pretty loose onto the phone, since it doesn't cover on the side and it is quite soft rubber. But actually, surprisingly, it sits pretty well. It feels like it might actually stay on the phone. But yeah, let's do the peel. Move this little screen protector sticker thingy that I have on here. Just like that. There we go. There's the screen. So now looking at the phone like this, the design is quite dated. It's not like a modern design. So if you were to care about that, I guess that would be a bummer. But otherwise, I like the design. It's quite nice. It looks pretty nice. And it even has a flash in the front as well. As you can see there, right there, that's a flash for the front camera. It might only be 2 megapixels, but at least it's got a flash, and that can make a big difference. Okay, and then it has like a multi-camera lens camera set up at the back, but very often on these cheaper phones, only one of them are working. So we'll have to test that and see. But now, without any further ado, let's turn it on and see what it's like. And there we go, booting up for the first time. Invens. Okay. There we go, it's got a nice little charm when it boots up, and now we'll just have to see how long it takes to boot up the first time. The display is like an air gap display, so yeah, it's a more older kind of technology. It's not like one of those fused screens that the newer phones have, and usually that looks better, the fused screens, than these older type, but it's cheaper to manufacture like this, and it doesn't really affect the functionality. But in anyways, now the phone has already finished booting up, so it's actually pretty quick. So now let's see here. Let's do the basic setup quickly. So basically here you just have to select your language. So I guess we just go to South Africa, since I'm in South Africa. And well, that's all. That's it, I guess. Welcome. Wallpapers, widgets, and settings. Touch. Got it. Okay, and there we go. That's the home screen. You didn't really ask me for any setup, but I mean, that's kind of weird actually, to tell you the truth. So first impressions, well, I have to say the screen looks pretty good, but if you know anything about iPhones, if you've ever seen an iPhone, you will immediately realize that the icons they're using here are all a knockoff of iPhone icons, as you can see there even. So yeah, that's something interesting to see, but I guess it's fine. You can imagine that you have an iPhone perhaps. Let's check the camera, because that's something that I consider to be quite important. So it's pretty slow to launch, and oh yeah, well, you won't be able to see it like this. I'll insert an image that I took with it in here so you can see what the camera's performance is like, but I can tell you right now that it is pretty bad. Well, it looks a little better once you take the picture, but it's still terrible actually. So the camera, not any good really. And then front camera, let's see that. Okay, so the selfie camera actually kind of looks better. So yes, once again, I will insert an image there so you can see, but I can guarantee you that the video quality is terrible. That is really terrible. So let's see what other features it has. Oh yeah, there's the whole face unlock thing. Let's test that out. It firstly shows you this message. Okay, let's go on. And then it's asking me for a pattern unlock, but I don't want to do a pattern unlock, I want to do a face unlock. Okay, so you first have to put in another kind of authentication, either a pattern or like a pin or something, and then you can add face unlock. So now you enable face unlock, and I guess I'll start. So start, okay, scanning my face. Okay, don't know how long this is gonna take. Okay, it's done. Entry complete. Okay, now how does this work exactly? Let me test it out. So I guess if I lock the phone now and I try to unlock it. Okay, well, somehow it worked. But let's see if I turn the phone towards something else, like you guys. Right there. Let's see if I put something else in front of it. Okay, let's try the face again. Okay, well, it does seem to work, and it is pretty fast, as you can see. Let's test it again. So that's about 2 seconds for it to unlock. So yeah, if it does seem to work and pretty quickly, but how secure it really is, now that's another question. I wouldn't trust it too much on a Chinese phone like this. So yeah, there's that. So what else is there that we need to test? Maybe the torch app. There we go. It's got a torch app. Not very bright, I have to say. It's quite a dim flash also, so don't expect to be taking pictures in the dark with it either. So yeah, that's basically it. Otherwise, what we can test also is maybe the sound. Let's test it. It has a test song on it. It seems like it's got. Okay. Okay, now I don't know if that's copyrighted, so I'm just gonna turn that off. But yeah, the sound is actually pretty good. It's got a pretty good sound. Even pretty good bass, especially for such a cheap phone. So yeah, about the price, I haven't mentioned it yet. So this phone costs about you could say about 1,000 rands. Here in South Africa you could get it from around 1,000 rands. So yeah, that's about what, like $64-$65. So it's really a pretty cheap phone, and it does seem to be pretty responsive, and yeah, all that. So it doesn't seem too slow actually, because really that's a problem I had before with cheap phones like these, is they were pretty slow to respond. They weren't very good in that regard. So the whole theme they have on this phone isn't too bad. I could get used to this, I guess. As for their browser app, what is this exactly? I don't know. I would probably not use it. I would just use Chrome. Does it have Chrome on it already, or what? Interestingly enough, it already has WhatsApp installed on it and Facebook. So that's nice to have. But it is just a basic Android phone in the end. So you can install any Android app on it, basically, within reason at least. That's the Android version and everything it has currently installed on it. Another issue you might have with these kinds of phones, will probably not be getting any security updates or anything again. So yeah, that's quite a bummer, but once again, at this price you could probably throw away the phone after a couple of years and just get a new one once the security becomes really outdated. A nice thing I found out about these phones now as well is that you can actually get like parts for them. So that's something to keep in mind. Very often with these kinds of phones there's no parts available for them, and that makes it a pretty big bummer, because the minute you break something on it, like the screen or something like that, especially the touches breaks very often on these Chinese phones because they are simply just not that strong, and then you are screwed because you can't just buy a new one or have it repaired. So that's nice. We are getting, actually from my supplier, I am getting these touches, so that's quite nice. Now I just checked this camera here. So yeah, the bottom two cameras here are not real cameras. You see these two, they're not real, they're just fake. And then it has the one here. So yeah, just the top one is a real camera, the other ones are fake, but that's to be expected. That's all I really have to say about this phone, I guess. It's a pretty nice phone for its price. If 5 years ago you told me I could get this kind of phone for $1,000 here in South Africa, I would have told you you're crazy, because I remember my first Android phone that I got, and it was terrible. Even though it was a Samsung, this phone is most certainly a better phone than that phone was. So this phone gets a strong recommendation from me if you are looking for a budget Android phone. I might actually even recommend this phone above other kinds of budget Android phones like your Hisense and your Mobicel phones that you also get here in South Africa. This phone does kind of feel like a better phone to me. The quality feels good. All of the extras you get with it is really nice. Considering all of that, this is a pretty good deal. Now, just one thing I would like to mention quickly about this phone before I end this video is just that if you are planning to play like games like PUBG and Fortnite, those kinds of more heavy kinds of mobile games these days that is popular, you might have a little bit of trouble with the limited RAM this phone has and the weaker processor. I believe it has like a quad-core processor only, like an older low-end quad-core processor, which means you're gonna have a hard time with games like that, and I wouldn't recommend it for that because you will probably be disappointed with that. That's if you can even get them to function on this device. So just keep that in mind. If you are planning to do a lot of mobile gaming, I would recommend you rather save up and buy a better phone, like at least like a low-end Samsung, or maybe a Huawei if you can't get a Samsung. And something that I always recommend to people if they can't afford like a nice phone for things like gaming and they want something that's a little more high-end, is to rather go and look at getting a good condition second-hand phone, because sometimes you can get a bargain in the second-hand market with a lot better specs than buying a cheap phone like this one brand new. So keep that in mind. But otherwise, if you're just going to be doing some WhatsApping and Facebook and maybe Instagram and watching some YouTube maybe and stuff like that, then this phone will probably serve you pretty well for a while to come. But that's all I have to say about this phone today. So if you found this video informative and you would like to see more videos like this, please hit the like button down below and remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.